Thank you, DK, for the introduction and also the invite. I'm glad to be here. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to show you just to describe to you some of the experience that I have with using MVAPICH and MVAPICH2 GDR. For the work that we do at Huawei, with the teams in engineering. So what I'm seeing is that there's going to be a continual work in progress with the DK's team on the MVAPICH2 MPI. So I'm here to just describe some of the things I, for my time in Huawei, able to do together with DK. More recently, I think the last couple of days with his team. In order to achieve better performance, right? And by tuning MPI and compare performance with another MPI, and also trying some supporting libraries that enable better performance. So first thing, I'm going to have a short talk anyway, but I'm just going to walk through some of the things that I do. In the last few days to work on comparing performance with MPI, OpenMPI with MVAPICH. And first, I'm going to show you the intra-node communication performance. So many of you know actually for supporting intra-node communications, there are a few open source library out there that allow us to do kernel assist intra-node communication. That shows very good performance on the large messages communications. So XPMem being one of them for cross-memory, partition memory, and KMem, ones that are OpenMPI does support and use. CMA is also available in the Linux kernel. OpenMPI does support that kind of those few kinds of shared memory libraries. MVAPICH, the one I built with, is using CMA. So and also LineMake, but I wasn't able to get LineMake working. Just to mention that. So what I'm actually looking at is that MVAPICH being the line in yellow, actually shows very good latency on small messages on the intra-node communications. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so that's one over here. So I'm very glad to see that. And then my comparison, I also tried, with the support that comes from the data ETL and OpenMPI. This shows relatively higher, much higher latency on the shared memory, and on the using UCX as well. So that's the line in blue. So as for the intra-node communication, as I mentioned, it's CMA for MVAPICH. XPMem shows on the large messages is where it's supposed to shine. So on this, so what I'm actually able to see here is that with the OpenMPI data ETL, you have an option to build with either one of these, among all these, three different shared memory kernel-based protocol. So XPMem appears to show for OpenMPI that is highest bandwidth and also lowest latency on large messages. So there are limits that actually come from the Veda BTL for adjusting it. So the 4 kilobytes in eager and 32 in pipeline and above for that is for Veda. So MVAPICH actually being one in what happens right here is in one in yellow. I'll compare the same one for OpenMPI that is for CMA. MVAPICH actually did much better. But well, my suggestion is that I hope that MVAPICH, the mainline source, would also have the support for XPMem. Yesterday, I came to know about the X version does support the XPMem, so which is really glad to hear, and this is why I see that it will be very valuable for MVAPICH support to improve on the large message communications.
So quick question, which version of OpenMPI were you using here?
The latest one.
So that has support for XPMem?
Yeah. So it has support for, I think it's 3.1 or 3.1 point something. Yeah. This is actually the same one that I use for for HPCX, which is the Mellanox OpenMPI. Yeah. And moving on to the intra-node communication. So the solution that I'm actually working on right now is using the Connectix 5 socket direct. One unique thing about the Mellanox Connectix 5 is that it allows you to plug in a by 8 cards on each side of the CPU on a two-socket system. What it actually allows us to do, due to that, is because in MVAPICH, anything that we have a couple of the HCAs available on two adapters, it's going to round robin the messaging between them. So what I see is that on the left side, on the image, is that the latency on large messages is able to reduce, and it's also helping us to get twice the EDR rate by using two of the by 8 slots. So that's one point of it. And I take a look at the MVAPICH user manual, and there's also a very specific way of doing round mapping rather than just a default, which is round robin. So there's also one other option, I forgot what that is, but the third option will be fixed mapping, which is really good because we want to force all the traffic actually going to a specific core directly to using the HCA that is closest to it. So this will be, I guess, one way of doing it, right? And then in order to avoid a lot of cross CPU kind of traffic that's going on, so that we can use that for intra-node, intra-CPU communication instead. So another point I want to find, I did compare is that on the right graph is the OpenMPI or HPCX comparison. I think there is some potential for MVAPICH to improve on the mid to large message range. But I think we're getting very good on the large message bandwidth already from what I measured. I didn't get to the collective communication tuning or connected communication results because I feel like it's whatever I'm actually, that I'm working on current platform, it currently does not have the support. So I end up taking a few some details into it. But before that, I actually want to mention that on a small scale, by using the use MD2 use Schumann call. It does actually make a huge improvement in collective-based, sharing-based collective communication. That's one point. The second is that on a small scale, NCAS is actually not the way I found it is not quite useful yet. Maybe I wasn't running at a scale that was intended to run. So as for the hardware-specific architecture tuning, what I found out is that if you're actually working on a new architecture, you do want to work with the MVAPICH team on tuning it because it appears that each one of these hardware that you end up working, there is a specific header file that it gets included, which really have us a long list of best or tuned collective algorithm that was intended to be used for that platform. And it's not as easy to do modification on your own. And then what I also find out is that there's no runtime kind of option to do it. And maybe somebody can guide me, but all the changes can be made in the compile time. So to try out all these lists of collective operation, it can take a long time to compile and retry. So maybe having runtime option can be an option. Just a brief mentioning of the code examples that MVAPICH2 provide is in the bottom of this page for tuning for different architecture and also HCA. Moving on to a new area, which is not new anymore, is the MVAPICH2 GDR. I just found some time to do some comparisons also on this environment on the same hardware, comparing the current generations of MVAPICH2 GDR with the latest HPCX, which has the support for it actually has the support for the UCX that has the support for GDR GPU RDMA with the GDR copy. So this is new. So for the UCX side. So what I found was quite interesting because previously I've done some measurements with OpenMPI and on this latency, and it has not been very, has not been competitive against MVAPICH. Right now, what I'm actually finding out is that the OpenMPI side, or you can say the HPCX side, or that has the support for UCX, able to come down the latency quite a lot due to the addition of GDR copy support. together with UCX. So I think it's kind of quite interesting to look into to that. And then so latency and bandwidth actually latency I'm showing you right here. So it's quite competitive among the two right now. And then for bandwidth and bidirectional bandwidth, MVAPICH does lead starting from the mid-range, from the pipeline to mid-range, to the rendezvous messaging. So and same for part of the bidirectional bandwidth as well. So very briefly on all these measurements, but they're very low-level benchmarks. So I guess my time is up. Thank you so much.